Hello, it is Wednesday, January 11th, 2023 at 12:02 p.m. Eastern Time, USA. This is my video journal. I'm Mitch Miller, and I'm wearing my lucky hunting shirt today that was given to me by my grandfather when I was 13 years old. This is it for the military, for the United States military. I've been systematically challenging the United States military to a pistol duel or wrestling match. And so we'll start with that. We're on to the rank of private, no insignia. This is a private, I guess, that has not attained the level of having a insignia on their shoulder. Maybe they're in basic training or the skills school or something. If you've achieved this rank in the United States military or its equivalent in any of the branches of the United States military, I challenge you to a duel using non-lethal compressed air powered paintball pistols. Since we do not have the prototypes of these, we will revert to a wrestling match using scholastic rules. If you win the duel, you will receive a piece of my art valued at millions of dollars, and you will delay me. Well, this is it, so there's no delaying the next rank of the military being challenged. This is it. That's why I'm not going to give this rank a week to reply. I'm going to make a video later tonight and possibly on Friday to address a more wider audience. If I win the duel, you must find money in your budget, and this is probably a personal budget or personal money, to fund my compressed air-powered paintball gun weapons company. I'll get into that in a little further detail. The task of which is to develop these paintball gun pistols and distribute them strategically to the population. If you cannot find funding, you must use your own personal. In return for that, you will receive a piece of my art valued at millions of dollars, and or a stock certificate of ownership in the company, giving you partial ownership of the company, voting rights, so on and so forth. If you ignore, deny, or refuse this challenge, you are first and foremost a coward, and secondly, the death and blood of any military action around the globe is on your hands for not validating and justifying this form of modern warfare, a form of warfare that values marksmanship and hand-to-hand combat skills that are taught to almost every military personnel around the globe. And might I add, they form the basic strategy of most military writings, at least hand-to-hand combat skills. So that's out of the way. So I want to talk today. I told the military not to resign, not that they would resign on my behalf, but hey, I'm out here. I've been saying for years, these supercomputers can hack into your brain, take over motor reflexes. Who's to say it's not gamers, the next generation of leadership that want to remote control military personnel like humanoid robots, right? And I'm out here saying this stuff. I've been saying it, and it's scary, and I could see why you would want to resign from the military. I didn't get into it for this bullshit. I thought I was going to have total control of my mind at all times, even if I was conditioned to act or think a certain way or react to certain situations. I always thought that my mind would be sacred. So I could see why you would want to resign, possibly say, if you don't hire this guy or you don't fund him or back him, I'm going to resign. I have another course of action that we could take to cover for all the mentally ill military personnel, veterans out there living on the streets, struggling every day with PTSD and other mental health issues, which I think are caused from wireless waves. Rather than the leadership of the military saying, you either hire Mitch Miller or I resign, why not approach it a different way and say, hire or fund Mitch Miller, or I think I'm starting to hear voices, right? I believe I'm hearing voices. I might not be fit to lead any longer. If you organize this among the leadership of the military and go to those, I'm not going to put a name in there, those politicians, maybe some stuff will get done. Because here's the thing, with this new form of warfare where we use non-lethal weapons, we can redefine what it means to be leadership in the military. Maybe they're in tune with the wireless waves, maybe they do hear voices, and they don't have access to deadly weapons unless it's an emergency, unless there's an attack on the base. They can still lead, and they could carry a compressed air-powered paintball pistol or have access to them at all times. That's the leadership challenging leadership to compressed air-powered paintball duels, right? So we can redefine what leadership in the military means, and all these schizophrenic veterans, bipolar veterans, that hear voices probably because they were exposed to high concentrations of wireless waves when they were in the military. So what we're looking for here is a new diagnosis. I believe it's my diagnosis. If I was a psychologist, I would diagnose people with this. We need psychology to accept it. It's called wireless sensitivity or radio sensitivity. And symptoms are you might hear voices that you don't identify as your conscience, so on and so forth. There's other symptoms I can spell out if I was brought in as an expert, but I can explain those voices. They're wireless, they're supercomputers, wiretaps, they have ears everywhere, and when they hear people talking about you, they try to direct those conversations toward your brain. If you're wireless sensitive, if they've worked on your brain so that you have telepathic type of abilities. So think of it that way. If you're a bad actor, you might hear voices that say you need to commit suicide, you're worthless, blah 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 blah. And if you heard that in your head day in and day out, you probably would end your life. Then there's other, if you're maybe not a bad actor or not a target that the supercomputers want to eliminate, you hear more uplifting type of things repeated in your head from time to time. So that's where we're at. Maybe the leadership of the military says, we need you to hire this expert in many fields and expert in a dying field, obviously, film, to consult with us. And if not, I want to see how you handle the fact that I start to report to a psychologist that I'm hearing voices. And then I might not be fit to lead, or we might have to redefine what it means to lead in the military. Because you have us on military bases with radar, sonar, on ships with radar, sonar, high concentrations of wireless waves. We want this diagnosis, wireless sensitivity. And then we can define it. Does it mean that you don't have access to guns? I'm not allowed to own guns. Does it mean that you're mentally ill and that you are labeled that and you don't have access to guns? Because that's why a lot of people, a lot of men in this country won't go get diagnosed, because they take the guns away. And that's what I want to get into next. So I said my weapons company would focus on non-lethal compressed air-powered paintball pistols as its first focus. The next phase of the weapons company is a neutral party that can go in and decommission guns, decommissioned firearms. We go in, you say you get diagnosed with schizophrenia, and they want you to sell all your guns, give away all your guns, get rid of the guns in the house. Our company will come in, take the firing pins out of all of your guns, all your firearms. We'll develop a step-by-step guide of how to put those firing pins back in and make them function again. We'll seal all those firing pins in a package, and we'll put them in a lockbox. And you can keep your guns. You can keep your firearms. You can clean them. You can play with them. I mean, that's what it is. It's the ownership of them. It's being able to point it at someone coming up on your front doorstep. They don't know that it's decommissioned. That'll be kept top secret. And it's also the ability to pass guns, firearms down to your children. So these weapons, you can hold on to them till the day you die and pass them on to your children. They can apply to get the firing pins back. And here's the deal, here's the contract. If the United States government or any state government passes a law that they will come and take your guns away from you, everyday citizens that aren't diagnosed mentally ill, aren't felons, if they say they're going to take your guns away, you have to turn in your guns. We will immediately release, send, or make available all of those firing pins to all of those mentally ill people, all of those people who got arrested, had to give their guns away, or had to have their guns decommissioned. That's our leverage over the government. We will release those firing pins and the directions of how they can put those, and then it's up to the government to come in and try to take your guns. That's what you get with an anarchist. That's why you should hire anarchists. We are the most neutral party in any situation. We believe that we can govern ourselves, either through direct democracy or other means. We believe that everyone can govern themselves. We don't necessarily need powerful governments to keep dibs on us. So that's why you should hire an anarchist, and that's why you should realize that their position in any society is to be neutral. Now, if we get into religion and the other A word, which I won't say that I am or not, but that makes it even more neutral. You're not loyal to any religion, okay? You're neutral. Think of me as a neutral party. I don't favor communism. I don't favor capitalism. I take what works from both, or what doesn't work, which is most of it, and just make it about community and people being empowered with their rights and their money to change this world into a better place. So I'm a neutral party. That's why my weapons company would be neutral. And I haven't figured out maybe military leadership that voluntarily have their guns decommissioned. Now everybody, we can say we decommissioned all the guns, but most of these people are going to buy at least one pistol on the black market to keep as protection for their home. I know the psyche of these men, mostly men. But most of their weapons will be decommissioned. Now maybe we have safes at military leadership in each town, each major city, where in the event that that law passes that they're going to take your guns, you'll get a letter in the mail. Here's the address to go to. Here's your lockbox code. Go in and get your firing pins and your instructions on how to get them. Maybe we use the U.S. mail to send them out. I'm not sure. Or maybe we have a physical location in all 50 states that you can go to. You can buy paintball gun pistols. You can buy the next product I'm going to go into. And we have all of the firing pins locked up. You can drive there. If they shut down the U.S. mail and don't let us send out those firing pins, you can drive there, walk there, ride a e-bike there, and get your firing pins and your instructions on how to reassemble and commission your weapons again. So that's what I'm getting at here. Maybe a lot more people would get diagnosed, or at least seek help and see psychologists that are hearing voices if they're having other symptoms. I know that's the case with my friend Jesse Daw. He has mental health issues. He never had a father. He has a lot of issues, and his wife told me he's afraid to get diagnosed because they'll take his guns. and he's a veteran of the Navy. He was an MA in the Navy, and I'm worried about him. I'm worried he's going to end his life because he's on the rocks with his family situation right now. But maybe this would help him if he knew a neutral party decommission his guns. There'd be a certificate that could be shown to a parole officer, to a psychologist, to the authorities. My guns are decommissioned. Now you may ask what my policy on guns are. And here's my thought process with guns. Guns are like cars, right? They're both deadly. They both use high speeds and can kill people. They both can be used for recreation. Neither of them are necessary, but we require all people that operate motor vehicles on public roads to register their vehicle and pay a registration fee every year. I believe that guns should be registered and you should pay a registration fee on them, a small fee every year for guns that are being transported on public roads. So if you take them out hunting, if you have a 1,000 acre property and those guns are never going to leave that property, you don't have to register them, nothing. But if you're using public roads to transport guns to even a firing range, I believe you should have to register them and pay a fee. Now I think my idea originally, before this decommissioning idea, was that the fees would not go into the tax kitty, would not go to the state, not go to any politicians' budgets. The fees from registering guns would go towards range time. So if you had 10 guns and you paid $3 a gun every year, you paid $30 a year for your 10 guns, you would get like an account where you have $30 worth of range time. We would partner with gun stores that have ranges and ranges so that you get a credit and you can go practice safety with the guns. You can go learn safety with the guns. So that's where all registration, you cannot use that registration money for anything else other than range time. So you're basically just paying for range time, right? You're paying a registration fee and you get it all back in range time at the range. I've kind of changed my thinking now that I have this decommission thing. I think the fees, the registration fees, should pay to fund this decommissioning program so that more people seek help, they can keep their guns. And that's the essence of what I'm talking about. I know people want to hand their guns down, they want to hold their guns, they want to see their guns, they want to have their guns, they want to be able to point it at someone on the front porch if someone comes. So those are very important things to gun owners, and if we allow them to continue to do that, they might seek help. I think I've said this before. I'm not against automatic and semi-automatic weapons. I think they're like a ATV, a dirt bike. You get acceleration from firing those things at a range. They're safe for target practice. I don't think you need them for self-protection, and I don't think you need them for hunting. I think that's not fair chase. But I think you should have the right to feel that exhilaration of firing an automatic weapon whenever you have the property or the range time to do it. They're just machines, and if they're in the wrong hands, just like a car, you can mow down 10 people, no problem, at a crowded whatever. So phase 3 of the weapons company, so we have a decommissioning program. People can decommission their guns for free. The fees pay for that. Neutral party, we send out the firing pins. We even make an agreement with the government. Hey, look, if you pass legislation that tries to take guns away from people, we're not going to be held accountable, and we're releasing all the firing pins. Phase 3, I just thought of this hunting the other day. We invest in lock boxes for the firing pins and safes for the firing pins. And this gets me back to Roy Waters' property in Florida. I talked about it on the last one. And he's my wife's aunt's boyfriend, fiance. He's trying to get married to her, but she's not having it. He's kind of annoying, but he's a good guy. So it's a gun safe for hunters. We build these gun safes, heavy gun safe. Medium size, pretty large. I'll explain that in a minute. It's a gun safe, right? People in the South that hunt big game, people even in Pennsylvania that archery hunt, it's warmer time of year. In the winter when we rifle hunt, muzzleloader hunt like I've been doing, we hang our deer outside because it gets cold enough at night that it ages the meat, cools it down, keeps it refrigerated. So this is a gun safe. It's got an inner lock box the size of the safe, and with racking and stuff for all your guns. The inner lockbox locks is the outer safe locks, either through punch code or whatever. Inner lockbox just locks with a key. You're able to pull that lockbox out with all your guns, right? There's a winch, electric winch in the top of the safe, so that you can grab it by the handles, pull the whole lockbox out, let it down onto like a cart that might come with the lockbox so you can roll it out of the safe. Now the safe has a winch in it, like I said. The safe has a compressor in it. You plug in, you can set the temperature, it becomes a meat cooler. Okay? So you can winch up a whole deer, it's the size of a large white-tailed deer, can winch up a whole deer, hang it in there, set the temp, and let it hang for 2, 3, 4, 5 days before you butcher it. So it's an extra refrigerator in your house, gun safe, for people that butcher their own meat, stuff like that. Because you already have this large safe in your house, why not double it as a refrigerator, and it could even get down to freezing temps. And so it's a simple compressor, one that that lasts 30 years. You just have to, or lasts 50 years. Real simple compressor for it, for the refrigeration, and you might have to fill it with Freon in 30 years. So that's my next phase 3 idea for the weapons company. I'm sure many more will come. And then there's smart weapons that were talked about, developing smart weapons or retrofitting other militaries with smart weapons if they lose the type of situations I talk about in the peace treaty. I've printed the peace treaty. I've printed a letter to the Joint Chiefs of Staff. I will send that Friday. So yeah, I think they're good ideas. I think we could have a weapons company. I think a lot more people would seek help. Military leadership could decommission some of their guns. So we have some phases and some programs that we could go into to transition the United States military, or at least put pressure on politicians to pass the budgets that you want to pass, to fund my weapons company, to fund me, to fund my projects, to hire me, whatever you want to do. So this is it for the Challenging the Military. Later tonight I will make another video for the international community to have a kill switch program. And look, if you appointed me chairman of the FCC, I would require every Wi-Fi antenna, every router, every Wi-Fi antenna sold domestically to have a manual kill switch on it, a manual cutoff switch to the antenna that you can click. You can shut off your Wi-Fi at night so it's not messing with your brain, messing with your dreams, messing with your kids. You can manually shut it off. You can work 8 hours, shut it off, and not have Wi-Fi internet in your house. However you want to do it. I think there should be manual kill switches on all of these devices. I don't know why we don't have them. It's insanity to me. But all wire up kill switches in your existing routers. So call me, let's launch this program, let's get it done for military families, for military personnel, and put these kill switches in, and like I said, if you made me chairman of the FCC, I would. You know me, I'm innovative. I'll come up with ways to get around these politicians and get us on fact-based news sources and kill switches on Wi-Fi devices until we can do the testing to see what this causes to human brains and things like that. Do the testing, follow through with that. So, but I don't think Biden's going to hire me because of the A words, right? I'm an anarchist, I'm neutral. I'm the other one, maybe I do believe in God a little bit. I'm not going to put my faith in organized religion though, because it causes war. So, I'm as neutral as it gets. I'm the type of person you want in a leadership role, not someone that's faithful to a specific religion or government or corporation. Alright, thanks for watching. Join me later tonight. And, yeah. Thanks for watching.